Good evening, Grace Covenant. My daily devotional for today seems to have become an evening meditation. That's just how my day has been. And I promise all the devotionals in the future aren't all just going to be me sitting here talking to you, but for this one and last one, that's where I am, and that's part of what I feel called to share. I'm feeling a lot of the stress of the world right now and the situation. I'm feeling how the anxiety level of everybody rise, somewhat in my household, just because of what we're dealing with in our house in terms of John's health diagnosis, and then just having, a son who is supposed to be in New Zealand right now, and just feeling the stress and anxiety that's building also around us in the community as talk of things opening back up is starting to rumble around, and a lot of questions are coming up, a lot of worries, a lot of anger, a lot of fear. And tonight there's a thunder moving through. It just feels like a lot of tumultuous energy that I really feel that. And so I want to invite you to just kind of be with me in that, and think about what is grounding for you and for me right now. For me, I've been trying to think about just kind of like what we talked about last week. Sitting with the difficult emotion, not letting it just stop you in your tracks, but also pausing long enough to let it speak to you. And I think what's helping me be able to sit with it is to remember that it's not these conditions or the decisions of the health department or governmental policy that gives me peace. It's God that gives me peace. And I hope you can hear that dove in the background. She just started cooing right just a second ago. Just the idea that the more I can kind of let myself tap into God's peace, the more I can kind of withstand all the tumult and the back and forth that's going on around us. And what that looks like for me might not be the same as what it looks like for you. I know for me, being outside, being with animals, digging in the dirt, just listening to the sounds of the world, being the world, crickets, birds, and even just kind of sitting with a storm that's passing and letting that kind of awesome energy that I have no control over just be something that I watch pass through here. I did find a psalm that was really helpful that I would like to read to you, and then maybe say a few other things before we say goodnight. This is Psalm 4, and I'm reading from the New Revised Standard Version. Answer me when I call, O God of my right. You gave me room when I was in distress. Be gracious to me and hear my prayer. How long, you people, shall my honor suffer shame? How long will you love vain words and seek after lies? But know that the Lord has set apart the faithful for God's self. The Lord hears when I call to God. When you are disturbed, do not sin. Ponder it on your beds and be silent. Offer right sacrifices and put your trust in the Lord. There are many who say, "Oh, that we might see some good." Let the light of your face shine on us, O Lord. You have put gladness in my heart, more than when their grain and wine abound. I will both lie down and sleep in peace. For you alone, O Lord, make me lie down in safety. I'm going to read that last line one more time. I will both lie down and sleep in peace. For you alone, O Lord, make me lie down in safety. And I think what this psalm helps me remember is we don't look for God, for evidence of God's grace and providence and love and power and healing in good fortune, or that, God giving us a sign that everything's all right. We can lie down and sleep in peace because God is with us in distress. And the fact that someone was writing these words so many thousands of years ago, tapping into that same assurance, that same mysterious assurance. Sorry, that was my dog. That same mysterious assurance that invites us to believe that there's a peace, that passes understanding, that is there and accessible to us in the most difficult of times, in the most tumultuous of times, in the most chaotic of times, in the most upsetting times, in the most conflictual times. And sometimes we pray for all of those hard things to just pass us over, like when really our prayer might just need to be like, help me know you're here. Help me remember that you're here. Because my family's not spared of misfortune, just like yours is not. And God, that's not the kind of God is, human life has suffering. God doesn't promise us a life without suffering, but God does promise us presence and proximity in our suffering. And so I just invite you in these times. We've probably got some pretty stressful times coming here for us in North Carolina, in the United States, in the world. There's a good chance there's going to be a spike in cases. There's a good chance there's going to be more conflict around how we should be handling it as a society. There's a good chance that the stress level in your household is going to get higher. There's a good chance that you're going to be feeling more and more anxiety as this wears on. So please learn what it is that helps you tap into that peace that passes understanding, that trust that God's love is what grounds you. God's love is what allows you to lie down in safety. God's love is what sustains you. God's love is what empowers you to be fully alive, even when things are really, really hard. I'm going to be praying that for you as we navigate these next few weeks together. And I hope you're praying for me, because I need your love and support just as much as you need mine. And we need each other. We need each other to help us remember, to help remind us of the words, the language of our faith. And that, This line in the psalm, when you're disturbed, do not sin. Ponder it on your beds and be silent. In other words, don't let our distress and our disturbances make us make bad decisions or hurtful decisions or decisions that are going to hurt other people or diminish our lives. But remember where our peace comes from. Remember where our peace comes from. It comes from God. I hope you can sleep well tonight. I hope I can too. Blessings and good night.